I know I missed some horses last week, and I know people gently reminded me that I did. I did not write all of those down. There's no point in getting off here anyway. I did not write all of those reminders down, so there are some horses missing from some barns still. We'll continue to update these in real time, but obviously we've had a busy week. It's now Sunday. We're home from New Jersey. I want to make sure that we get these videos done, get them posted, and get them out to you tonight or tomorrow morning at the latest. So for right now, we're going to go with the list we had. Harry's barn, very important. I have to send that video out also. So I had 2 veterinarians and 1 surgeon look at and talk about Archer's Rainbow. Now, pay very close attention. Here's the issue with Archer's Rainbow. Very immature filly last year. And she had what the veterinarians called laxity on the left side of her throat around the arytenoid area, right? So it was thought that she would get better with time. She would mature and she would be better with time. We turned her out, she come back in, she looks like $1 million. She's big, she's starting to fill out. She's training good, but she is making a little ruffle. And by a ruffle, sometimes, so I say this a lot, but it can mean 2 very different things to 2 very different groups. If you are a horseman out there, you know what I'm talking about, that little flutter you'll hear when horses maybe shut their air off or have an entrapment. Not quite that loud roar, but a little flutter. And for those of you who are not trainers out there or don't really know what we're talking about, sometimes you'll hear horses go by, whether it's in a race or training, and it'll catch your ear, right? You'll hear it. That horse just doesn't sound like they're breathing right. It could be a variation of that also. So this filly, I talked to the veterinarians, and we made the decision last year to let her mature. This is an invasive procedure. It's called a tie back, and they tie this open a little bit and help the horse in its breathing. But it is a little bit invasive, and it was not something that I was prepared to do to a 2-year-old filly last year. But now that she's been in 15 and getting stronger, and Harry said the power is there. She doesn't have a power outage, but that I can hear her airway is not working at 100%. It has to take away from her overall ability at some point. And the biggest problem at all is, if you guys remember back, we had that little trotter that ended up with a paralyzed side because he had an irritation on that arytenoid on, I believe it was the left side too, and it ended up paralyzed. So before we start dealing with that type of an issue, let's be a little proactive and say, and this is exactly what I told the vet and the surgeon, how would you move forward if you owned the horse? What does that look like? And how do we proceed? And both vets and surgeons said the same thing. Cool that area out, get that ulcer off that area in her throat. So about a week of cleaning that up. You can do that with mild cortisone, some DMSO and Furacin. When that is cleaned up, at that point we'll reassess, but likely go in and do a tie-back surgery. So she will be off, which I don't care about, to be honest. She'll be off for about 4 weeks. And this is off in the stall. This isn't off, light jogging, time off. This would be a setback. But at the same time, from what I see on the track mechanically and how this filly looks, I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm worried about the 2022 season. Any horses we're trying to get ready now, I need them to show me that they're going to be a part of the 2022 season at the stable.ca. This filly, from what I can see on the track and what I see in her body language and mechanics, is going to be a part of our barn in 2022. So the easy question that was easily answered is, how do we make that happen? We're going to do the tie-back surgery on her. It's not going to be a big deal, but it has to be done right. So a week of cleaning this up, reassess, do the tie-back. From my understanding from the veterinarian I talked to, 4 weeks off in the stall. At that point, you're going to talk about paddock for 3-4 days after that, light jogging, reassess, and start jogging and training. Again, a month in the stall is a significant stoppage in her training, so it will interrupt her training back. She obviously won't be ready in December. She probably won't be ready till February. But if she's back in a better form than we've ever seen her in February, I believe it's a no-brainer. It's just what we're going to do. So a path forward has been forged for this filly, and one that makes sense and looks like the right move. And overall, it shouldn't affect her, and if anything, make her better. So that's the direction we're going in with our girl arches rainbow. Better Be Sawyer's getting close. I suspect she's been around 212. Harry's been training her. I didn't realize he'd been that much with her. I kept telling everybody, you know, Christmas time, maybe first part of January. It might be a little bit before when we get her qualified, but that'll be up to Harry. I know he's been training her pretty good, and he likes what he sees from her. Brave World, 4th the other day. I thought he could have been a little bit better. I know I was talking to Travis after, and he said, you know, next time when you leave trailer with this horse, he's not the same. Next time if he's on the gate, all we're asking for is Fiverr inside. You know, close him up a little bit in his bridle. I know that Harry'd open him up. Close him up a little bit in his bridle and cut him loose, and I think he's probably sitting on and waiting for a pretty decent performance from him. Don't believe me, just watch. A little flat the other day. I'll be the first to admit it. Harry told me after he thought he knew what it was. Maybe he had to do a tiny bit of vet work on this horse. Tiny bit of vet work on him, shake him up a little bit, and I think don't believe me, just watch. We'll be just fine. You know, I saw a post from somebody saying he needs some time off. Those decisions are made by Harry, not by the message board or Facebook or Twitter. And you know, if Harry wanted to give him a week, he would ask for a week because he knows he would get a week. So if he wants to continue to stay the course right now, then that's exactly what's going to take place. Locutelli, as I said a minute ago, he's ready to go. James schooled him the other day, said that he was good. Trained good this week, but he did have a decent amount of nasal discharge. So they scoped him. They said it was mostly up in his head, like a head cold. But will that take away from his performance? Yes. So he's not racing until tomorrow. When you see this video, it'll be Monday. He's obviously racing. So this will be a game time decision. I'm not too concerned about it. If we have to scratch Locutelli, it's not the end of the world. We can school him. By Friday, he should be cleaned up. This is more a timing thing than anything. We can't put him behind the gate if he's not 100%. I don't have to tell you why. I mean, it just makes no sense. It's irresponsible. So if he's not 100%, he won't race tomorrow. And if he races, great. And if he doesn't race, fine. There's nothing wrong. We'll school him up, and everybody will have to just wait with anticipation, the same as me, for another week or so. No free lunch. I believe Harry said he was going to start training this horse soon. He said he looks great on the track. I can be honest, I haven't specifically seen him myself on the track this week, but Harry said the horse is sound and looking good. He's been jogging him for 3-4 weeks. I suspect he's going to start training him very, very soon. Miss Sofia Rose is Brenda's filly. She had a nasty abscess in her foot, and then sounded up. Good 10 days she was lame. Sounded her up and started jogging her, and she got sick of the burn. Also, this is the time of year where the weather starts fluctuating. You know, this week it was 13 with a chance of showers on Wednesday and -3 overnight the next night. This is the time of year where it's that transition, weather transition, can be a little harder on some of the horses. So you just have to let them get over it and acclimate on their own rate. And that's exactly what we are going to do. And when it comes to Miss Sofia Rose, she got a little sick also. So got her sound. Now we got to get her cleaned up and healthy. She's still going to be a good 2-3 weeks from the races, simply because she was off. You can't stand in the stall for 2 weeks and then just jump back into action. It doesn't work that way. Silent Assassin looked good on the track. I saw that's our Devious Man filly. She looked good on the track the other day. I was really, really happy with her and how she looks. And State of Play, little drop in class for State of Play coming up this week. I know Harry had him so good when he had those 2 wins, and then he had bruised his leg, did what was right by him, gave him time, brought him back properly. But when you're not at that top level, you can't race in the same manner, right? So instead of winning in 52 or 53 first over, or sitting in the hole, James had got away 6 with them. Didn't quite have the same pop. I think he just needs a little help. We're going to drop him down a little bit back where they got him to get him that help. So that is where Harry's burn sits. I'll be back. We still got Tim, Jason's burn, all the small burns to talk about. I'll be back in just a second.